Good evening. Legislative Day number 6 will now come to order. Please rise for a moment of silent meditation. Thank you. I will now call upon Councilman Quirk to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Is there a motion to approve the journal for the meeting of March 5th?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. The journal is approved. Mr. Secretary, enrollment of bills.
Mr. Chairman, bills 3 through 8 of 2018 were enrolled this evening.
Okay. Any more bills for introduction?
Bill 22-18, Aging and Disability Resource Center, Bill 23-18, Animal Welfare, and Bill 24-18, Zoning Regulations, Public Buildings.
Okay. Okay. Let's start with Bill 9-18.
Bill 9-18 is an appropriation of $3.5 million to the Department of Corrections.
Okay, Ms. Gail Watts. Is she here? Good evening, Ms. Watts.
Good evening, Councilman, Chairman Jones, and Council Committee. A supplemental appropriation of $3.5 million is required for our new medical contract and for overtime. Our new medical contract with Prime Care Medical requires an additional $2.9 million, and the remaining $600,000 is for overtime. Regarding overtime, in response to a question that was asked by council, I would like to point out that our vacancy rate is 6%. It's high to us, but other jurisdictions are higher because of the difficulty in filling correctional officer positions. For example, Harford County has a 10% correctional vacancy rate. Cecil County has a 9.2% vacancy rate. Montgomery County has a 13% vacancy rate. And again, I say that our rate is high to us, but in a correctional arena, it's not high.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Any questions? No questions? Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on Bill 9-18.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Quirk?
Aye.
Mrs. Allman?
Aye.
Mr. Katz?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye. Ayes have it. Bill 9-18 is passed. Mr. Secretary, next bill, please.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Watts.
Bill 10-18 is sponsored by Council Members Katz, Allman, Quirk, Marks, and Bevins. County budget.
Okay. Mr. Katz?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. This legislation will require that the future county executives have at least 2 public meetings in the county prior to the county executive submitting his or her budget to give the public the opportunity to testify and let the county executive know what their priorities are. If you remember last year, after the budget was introduced and the council got the budget, We didn't have many people come to, I don't think we had anybody come
No,
and speak when it came to the budget. And what I thought is, well, I can understand why people wouldn't bother to come on that occasion, because the budget had been introduced. The council can only cut the budget. We can't cut and transfer. So this legislation will give the public the opportunity to give their input firsthand to the county executive. And at the work session, I went over a particular situation that I thought that the county executive last year would have benefited from hearing the public on that particular issue. Was the stat issue. Thank you.
Sure. Any more comments? Yes, Councilman Marks.
Question. I commend Councilman Catch for this bill, and we'll be supporting it, obviously. But Councilman Catch, would you think that ideally the meetings should be in different areas of the county?
Yeah, the bill calls for the meetings to be in two separate parts of the county, geographically divided. And the thing is that it requires two meetings. But I remember talking to former county executive Ted Venetoulis, who said when he was county executive, he had a meeting in each councilmatic district with the local council member. So this certainly doesn't restrict that. It just requires for the minimum of two meetings in different parts of the county. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Councilwoman Bevins.
It actually doesn't say in different parts of the county, so we might want to add that. It just says two public meetings.
I think it.
You're correct. The bill requires two public meetings. It does not specify
Oh,
any
okay.
particular location.
I think I'm thinking of the first bill that did have that in it. Okay. Yeah, you want to move verbal amendment then?
Sure, I'll move it.
I'll second. The amendment is that the meetings be held in two separate parts of the county.
Two separate locations,
Mhm.
yes.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on the amendment.
Mrs. Bevins?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Quirk?
Aye.
Mrs. Allman?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye. Okay. Any more comments on the bill? Let me
Mr.
guess.
Chairman, there is another amendment to the bill already that's in your books. It's sponsored by Councilman Catch, and this just makes it clear as to the applicability of the legislation, which Mr. Catch already mentioned, that it applies to the next fiscal year,
Okay.
fiscal year 2020.
Right.
Can I get a motion to move that amendment?
I'll move it.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Quirk?
Aye.
Mrs. Allman?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye. Okay. The second amendment to Bill 1018 is passed. Any more questions or comments? I would just add, I thought it was interesting when I read in the paper, it reminded me that Councilman Quirk was the chair. He couldn't make it that day, so I stood in for you. And we had about this amount of people in the audience, and no one had anything to say. And I sit here, I remember begging people, is there somebody or something, is there something you want to say about this $3 billion? Even if it includes us writing you a check. Come on up. And no one came up. So it'll be interesting to see. I will reserve, I can't wait to see, in fact, if the new hearings will yield people. So hopefully it will. On that note, I will, Mr. Secretary, let me see, do we have a motion to approve this bill?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
This is on the bill as amended.
Yes.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mrs. Allman?
Aye.
Mr. Quirk?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye. Okay, Bill 10-18 as amended as passed. Council will now consider all fiscal matters. Extensive testimony was taken at the council's work session on March 13th. The witnesses who testified at the work session are available to restate their testimony if needed. I'll now call upon the secretary to read the cover letter for the fiscal matters 1 through 10.
Fiscal Matter 1 is a budget appropriation transfer for the Fire Department. Fiscal Matter 2 is a contract with EcoFlow Incorporated. Fiscal Matter 3 consists of 2 contracts for temporary dental hygienists and dental assistants. Fiscal Matter 4 consists of 3 contracts for recovery housing services. Fiscal Matter 5 is a contract with Two Hearts Assisted Living, LLC. Fiscal Matter 6 is a contract with Patrice Milani Fitness Equipment. Fiscal Matter 7 consists of 2 contracts for on-call tree trimming, removal, and stump removal services. Fiscal Matter 8 is a contract with Rupert Landscape. Fiscal Matter 9 is a contract with Classic Lawn and Landscape. And Fiscal Matter 10 is a contract with East Coast Management Group.
Okay. Everybody's okay with voting on these together? We have a motion to approve fiscal matters 1 through 10 as read.
So moved.
Can I get a second? I'll second it. It's been moved and seconded. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on fiscal matters 1 through 10.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Quirk?
Aye.
Mrs. Allman?
Aye.
Mr. Katch?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye. Okay, fiscal matters 1 through 10 has passed. We'll now consider all miscellaneous business. Mr. Secretary, first item, please.
This is a notification from the Director of Budget and Finance regarding the awarding of contracts over $25,000 by a process other than formal competitive bid. Those contracts are required to be announced at the Council's legislative meeting. There are 8 contracts this evening. JEOL USA Incorporated, $45,238. Oxford Instruments America, $41,100. Sidnor Hydro Incorporated, $32,300. Rexel Incorporated, $91,246. AWE Acquisition Incorporated, $91,746. Popowski Brothers, $34,777. Verizon, $38,396. And Baltimore Gas and Electric, $301,956.
Okay. Next item, Mr. Secretary.
Resolution 23-18, sponsored by Councilman Crandall. This is a resolution of the council to approve the review of a proposed planned unit development.
Mr. Crandall?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I understand that we have an amendment.
There is one amendment that is sponsored by Councilman Crandall. It is in your books, and this just removes an incorrect code section reference. It's a technical amendment.
So I'll move the amendment, and then we can talk about the resolution.
Okay.
Second.
The amendment has been moved and seconded. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Quirk?
Aye.
Mrs. Allman?
Aye.
Mr. Katch?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins?
Aye.
Okay. The amendment to Resolution 23-18 is passed. Mr. Crandall?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Resolution 2318 would approve the review, the Baltimore County Agency review of the planned unit development at Sparrows Point Country Club. This is an exciting project for the community of Dundalk. This fits in with a vision that includes recreation of our job base, which is occurring at Trade Point Atlantic, the revitalization of our commercial corridors, and the improvement of our housing stock. So this is a real opportunity to create a one-of-a-kind, one of the most unique communities in all of Baltimore County, if not the state of Maryland, which would be a waterfront golf course community with a marina. And some of the highlights are a mixture of villas, townhomes, and single-family homes, again, creating what is a unique community and a real gem that I think goes along with the industrial and commercial activity happening. To have something like this in Dundalk, I think really puts Dundalk back on the map. And the process so far has played out where the developer has worked with various members of the community in excess of the required community input meetings, so I feel that the process has played out very well. There have been substantial community benefits derived from this planned unit development. I think Councilman Marks in our work session said it was an impressive list of community benefits. The overall project itself would create this 3 distinct neighborhoods, but also exceeds any open space requirements, and there'll be walking paths and things throughout, and different amenities that would make this a really, really special thing in Dundalk. So I'm pleased to submit the resolution, and I would appreciate my colleagues' support on it. Thank you.
Okay. Any more comments?
Mr.
Yes.
Just to clear something up, what is Todd's inheritance? The community benefit.
I was wondering
I
that.
know
really
what it
was.
is. You better explain.
Well, I wish that the Todd house was somehow in our family, but no, that's a historic landmark down on the North Point Peninsula. Councilman Catch, thank you.
I remember when I was teaching at Holabird Junior High School, this project was in place then.
Mhm.
So I'm surprised it's not finished, but I'm glad we're doing more for it.
Some good people are working on it.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Any more comments? Okay. Is there a motion to approve Resolution 23-18?
I'll move it.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Quirk?
Aye.
Mrs. Almond?
Aye.
Mr. Katz?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Resolution 23-18 as amended is passed. Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
The next item is a request from Councilman Quirk that the council confirm his nomination of Ms. Maureen Murphy to serve on the Baltimore County Board of Appeals for an additional 3-year term.
Yeah,
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I just ask my colleagues for their support on the reappointment for Ms. Maureen Murphy. She sits on the Board of Appeals. She's exceptionally independent. She also is a lawyer by background, and so she's been a real asset to the Board of Appeals as they work through many different cases. She dives into detail. She really does bring a lot of legal expertise to the Board of Appeals, and so just wanted to urge your support.
Okay, thank you. Yes,
Yeah,
Councilman?
my father
Morris?
served on the Board of Appeals for, I think, like 10 years, and I remember coming in from college, and he'd be down in the basement scrolling these opinions out of legal pads. It really is a tough job, and it really requires someone with good experience and a legal mind. And Ms. Murphy, I think, is one of the most senior members of this board. She's very sharp. This is a very good appointment.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any more comments? Yes.
And she is the daughter of former Councilman Murphy from Catonsville, Lansdowne, Arbutus, and did I say Lansdowne already?
And
Yeah.
Hillthorpe and a bunch of
Okay, Hillthorpe, et cetera.
home of
who-
UMBC, by the way.
So anyhow, and he.
We can all clap.
I was going to say UMBC, what's that?
Well, you know, they did a great first game, but didn't quite make it in the second.
Oh, wait.
They did a great second game, too.
You know,
They did a
but
great second.
I mean, to have this was the upset. This is the biggest upset ever.
Real?
Yeah.
What happened?
Well,
Councilman Quirk, are we not
Remember-
proud of the Retrievers?
We are very proud of the
Virginia-
Retrievers.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Councilman
Virginia
Crandall.
was rated number 1 in the country, and UMBC went against them.
What were they rated?
They were they were 16.
Oh,
16, and 16 beat number 1.
wow.
And it wasn't even close. It was a great game.
But I will move that reappointment.
And I'll second it. I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on the reappointment of Ms. Maureen Murphy.
I forgot where we were after all that.
I brought it back.
I'm like, what are we voting on?
Baltimore County.
I'm sorry, Mr. Secretary.
This is on the reappointment of Ms. Murphy. Mr. Quirk?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mrs. Almond?
Aye.
Mr. Katz?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins? Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Ms. Maureen Murphy is reappointed to the Board of Appeals. Mr. Secretary, did you watch UMBC play?
Yes.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure, I'm doing a spot check. I want to make sure that everyone in Baltimore County was watching. It was very impressive.
Mr. Boswick called me to remind me.
Good. Next
he
item.
watch it?
Oh, did I watch?
Did he watch it?
Oh, he
Mr.
did watch.
Boswick?
Mr. Boswick?
Did you watch it?
Good.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, maybe we can have the UMBC team come in. That would be great. You know, talk about an all-county council resolution.
That'd be good.
They've definitely earned it.
We'll probably be on like number 19, but I do believe they are certainly deserving of a resolution. They certainly put UMBC and Baltimore County on the map.
We should also have the Perry Hall High School State Championship basketball team.
Yeah, you know, they did
Okay.
well.
Somebody always have to ruin it.
Oh, boy.
I don't know. Okay. Mr. Secretary, is there something else? Next item.
I don't know who passed out the happy juice, but I didn't get any.
The next item is Resolution 26-18, which is sponsored by Councilwoman Bevins. This is a resolution to approve the refund of taxes collected from Buford Motley, who is a disabled veteran and entitled to that exemption.
I'm honored to move it.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Mrs. Bevins?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Quirk?
Aye.
Mrs. Allman?
Aye.
Mr. Katz?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Resolution 26-18 is passed. Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Resolution 28-18 is sponsored by Councilman Quirk. This is a resolution of the County Council supporting the designation by the Maryland State Arts Council of an Arts and Entertainment District in the Arbutus-Catonsville area. This is for introduction this evening.
Okay. Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Resolution 29-18 is a resolution of the County Council to approve the review of a proposed plan unit development. This is sponsored by Councilman Jones, and it is for introduction this evening.
Okay. Is there any further business
Yeah,
come
Mr.
before the council?
Mr. Chairman, if I might.
Sure.
I just wanted to personally acknowledge our Attorney General for the county, Scott Schellenberger. Our Scott had just recently charged a gentleman in Arbutus with 3 counts of animal abuse, and I think he did the right thing. I think he really investigated something that was just a injustice that was done in Arbutus, and so I just wanted to thank the Attorney General, Scott Schellenberger, for all his work and dedication toward doing the right. State's Attorney, Scott Schellenberger, for doing the right thing there.
Agreed.
Okay. Any more questions or comments? Well, I'm going to go back to UMBC one more time.
I like it. I like
The
it.
Golden
Come to
Retrievers.
Catonsville. Come to Catonsville.
You know, I have to admit that I don't watch a lot of basketball games, but I did, once the Retrievers made their way to the tournament, I did watch it. And my nephew said, of all the games to watch, you picked a good one. But on another note, I heard someone say that they believe that win resulted in the neighborhood of $35 million in publicity for the school.
Wow.
Wow.
And I don't know how they came up with that number. I guess they looked at all the press that they received. And I've always haven't been like a real big sports fan. But when I see that and I see how it brought so much attention to the school and so many people engaged and involved, then I can clearly see the value of sports in our society. Even though sometimes I wonder whether we should be financing these stadiums, but that's a different story. But I'm very, very proud of them. I think they made us all proud. And even the second game, Councilman Katz, they hung in there. They weren't even supposed to be on the court,
That's
but
right.
they hung in there. They kept it close. And a couple of more baskets dropped, they could have won. So on that note, I guess absent any more comments on UMBC, I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So, I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded. Mr. Secretary, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. As is customary, anyone who signed up prior to the meeting with the secretary is allowed to speak for 3 minutes on UMBC. Oh, I'm sorry. Speak for 3 minutes on any subject they like this evening. And on that note, I will call Ms. Diana Williams. Good evening, Ms. Williams. Good evening.
I am a Baltimore County parent. I have a ninth grader at Delaney High School. I'm also a Baltimore County fifth grade teacher. Councilwoman Almond, I'm a member of your district. My elementary school is one of many schools in Baltimore County that has been renovated or is new. The disparity between these schools that have been renovated or replaced and Delaney is stark and abhorrent. Delaney High School is currently the worst high school in Baltimore County without a funded solution. Councilman Quirk, to renovate Delaney at the same square foot cost of the proposed renovation at Lansdowne High School would be close to $100 million. I think all of the council would agree that this would be an economically irresponsible measure. Councilwoman Almond, please support the planning and design money that County Executive Kevin Kamenetz has pledged to Delaney High School. There are many of us in your district who have students at Delaney, and we would very much appreciate your support of our children and the school that they attend. Thank you.
Councilman Quirk.
I appreciate you coming out, and I did want to say that the issues that are happening at Delaney High School are in no way unique to Delaney. We have issues at Lansdowne High School. We have issues in the Northeast. We have issues in the Southeast. So this isn't Delaney versus everyone else. This is everyone together. But
no, I understand that. It's just the only school without a funded solution at this point.
No, I beg to differ. I mean, there's a high school that needs to be built in the Northeast really, really bad right now. And there are significant overcrowding issues in the Southeast. Delaney is not alone in this problem. But thank you.
I agree. It's not alone, but it needs to be in the planning stages.
Thank you.
Any more comments?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Yes, in regard to the overcrowding in the Northeast and the central areas, actually, if you take a look at a new Towson and a new Delaney, the construction of these two new buildings will relieve the Northeast corridor of some of its overpopulation. And I will, in fact, I've written a paper on it. I'll be glad to share it with you. I have all the numbers. If you build a Towson, I forget what it is, 1,600 and some, and then Delaney 2,000, it eats up about half of the need for the Northeast. So, might want to keep that in mind. And in regard to, and my question is, in regard to Patapsco and Woodlawn High Schools, my understanding is that the improvements, the renovations are halfway complete. Is that true?
I don't know.
I'm not sure if they're halfway complete. I know that work has started.
So you certainly aren't supporting tearing down a building that we're renovating. Because I know that
No, but it's
Woodlawn
too late.
has begun.
Councilman, this is about equity.
I
This is about what was told, and then the plan changed. And, we're sitting in the Southeast with Patapsco High School. We were told that we had to swallow the renovations and that we weren't even gaining seats out of these renovations.
Well, the issue again.
So the plan changed midstream. That's what everyone's so upset about.
All right, we're going to, how about we take one more comment?
Okay.
And then, or one comment and a rebuttal, if we
Yeah.
will. And then we'll just move forward, because we don't want to get here and
Right.
stay here all night debating this issue.
I think as far as equity goes, the situation with Delaney is that it's going to cost so much money to renovate that school to the degree that Pikesville is being renovated and in this case Lansdowne, that it it would be ridiculous to spend this kind of money to renovate a school when you can get you get more state money when you build a new school than if you renovate it. So it, you know, the people in the Delaney High School area have worked very hard and have made a case for a new Delaney. By the way, they also support a new Lansdale and, you know, want what is best for all the students in Baltimore County. This was in no way a selfish effort to get money just for Delaney. No way.
Okay.
And so this is the reason why a new school makes sense, because it is the most cost-effective solution.
Okay, any rebuttal? Any rebuttal? Okay, no rebuttal. Thank you very, very much, Ms. Williams. This is what democracy looks like, and we work very, very hard to do what is best for the citizens, and sometimes the choices are tough, but I certainly appreciate you coming out, advocating for your school and advocating for your community, and we need to hear from the citizens, so thank you for coming out. So, next is Leanne Sugarman. Oh, of course. I don't know. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm also here to talk about Delaney. I am a previous president of the Cockeysville Middle School PTA, and I'm currently a member of the Delaney PTSA, where I help run a pantry for our most vulnerable students. There's approximately 20 homeless students at Delaney. We have our vulnerable population as well. I'm here to ask for your support for the planning and design money for a new building, because it's desperately needed. I'm in the same boat as people who don't have aren't part of the Delaney district. Their district does not include Delaney students. I have a freshman at Delaney, but I also have a recent graduate. He's a junior in college. My children are never going to benefit from a new Delaney, but I've experienced the existing Delaney, and it's not safe. It's scary for the students who go there. They take it in stride, but as a parent and a community member, we've got to have a plan. And so I'm asking for you to, and the reason we rejected the renovation, it wasn't going to do enough. It wasn't going to make it safe. And the dollars per square foot to match other renovations, again, would be crazy, more cost effective for a new school. Based on the conversation here, so I'm asking, we have to make tough choices. But when? Where's the 10-year plan? Where's the plan for schools like Delaney? All these schools need attention, but no one, we've all gone to listen to the meetings of the board, BCPS board, and then listening to this. We need a plan. The money's got to come from somewhere, because the kids, we need it. It's the best thing for the communities. We've got to find a way to do what's right for everybody's district. So these are tough decisions. But at some point, tell us when, if it's not this year. When's it going to happen? Because many of you have toured Delaney. It's crumbling. The football field was electrified this past fall. Kids couldn't use it. It's not, I don't believe it's from the Disabilities Act. I don't think it's in compliance. We're grandfathered in. It's just, when's it going to happen? You got to tell it. You got to make a plan. That's all I ask. Thank you so much for listening.
Well, Ms. Sugarman,
yes.
let me just say this.
Sure.
I guess feel the need to put this out there. In the last 8 years, Baltimore County has spent $1.3 billion on schools, air conditioning and construction.
Yep.
We have far exceeded what the state is willing to give us. In fact, they owe us today somewhere in the neighborhood of $230 million. Because normally it's a dollar for dollar match. We've been putting in maybe $2 for every $1 the state put in. So I guess want to be clear, there is a plan. The plan has been implemented over the last 8 years, and we're spending 52 cents on every tax dollar in schools. So we're faced with a situation coming up where we're going to have to make some hard choices. So I'm going to give you an opportunity today to tell me what would you rather have. I'm going to pose a question. A renovated Delaney in a few years, or new Delaney in 8 years, or 5 years, or 10 years? Renovate it today, or build a new one in 8 years?
I don't know if I can make that choice, because I don't know what that renovation looks like, sir. In all due respect, I don't know what that renovation looks like.
Make the
Because
renovation
the
whatever you
renovation
like.
that was proposed was not going to get us to a safe, better place. So would I rather have a new school? Yes. Obviously, that's the right thing, because I think that's ultimately the right thing for the community. Is a renovation, you're telling me that I have to make that choice right now?
No. Listen, I guess put it out there
Okay.
to show you. I wanted to hear from you, a person who's advocating on behalf of Delaney, and I appreciate it. But I was just curious, if someone were to pose a question to you, if you want a new school, are you willing to wait for it, or are you willing to take a remodeled one today? And not to get into all the details about what the remodeled one looked like, we're just saying, would you be willing to take a renovated one today, or would you be willing to wait 5, 6, 7 years to get a new one? That's my only question.
Okay. Well, I would respond to the renovation plan that we saw last year, or the most recent one for Delaney. That was not going to address the issue, so I would rather have a new school.
Okay, all right. Thank you so
And
much.
that's just one
Oh,
parent.
no,
One parent.
believe me, I understand. I understand. Councilman Marks?
I just want to thank you for coming. As someone who used to sit down there before I was elected, it's not easy always to come here, and
Yeah.
thank you for your advocacy.
Oh, sure.
Oh, yeah, and believe me, I in no way wanted to put you on the spot.
No,
It's just a matter of, these are the type of things that, we wonder about as we try to work our way through this very difficult issue.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
and I did want to reiterate, and to the previous speaker too, we do appreciate your advocacy, but the thing I would really suggest and ask is to view it not like Delaney is unique in this situation. Somehow they're the only high school that has this problem, because we have several high schools that have problems, and I invite anybody from Delaney to please come down. Bring a busload of people to Lansdowne High School. I'll take you for a tour myself, and I think you'll find very similar problems, that may be even worse. And matter of fact, according to the ratings, we know Lansdowne High School is the worst. That's just a fact. And so I think we can't go, my high school is greater than your high school. I think the only solution is all of us really coming together and looking at like a 10-year solution, 10-year plan. The reality in politics and what the council and the county executive does every single day, as everyone knows, is it's an incredible limited resource, capital, debt, pay-go, cash, general funds, and it's an unlimited demand. And to the county executive's credit and the county council, we have thrown the whole kitchen sink at this problem. We really have, and we have basically really used almost every available dollar in our capital budget to try to fix the problems of schools, but we're still not finished, obviously. Delaney, nobody, I think, at all on this council thinks that Delaney doesn't have issues. I think everybody agrees. But as Councilman Crandall said exactly right, this is really about equity and all kids being treated equally, not just kids that have sophisticated or educated groups of people advocating for it, but all kids. Some parents can't get out here and speak or don't have the time or don't have, and that's not knocking anybody else. It's great to have advocacy, but every kid in Baltimore County really should be treated equally, no matter where they come from. The school's a school. So, but saying that, I do appreciate you coming out, and I appreciate the advocates. But let's just try to make all of us in this together, because I think that's the only way we're going to solve this issue is really look at it in relation to all the other schools as well, and really come up with a plan going forward how we solve this issue, given really scarce resources.
I'm trying not to be frustrated with how you're trying to portray what I'm saying? As in, I don't appreciate Lansdowne's situation? Of course we do. We want for all the students. My kids play baseball at that field in the summer. It's tough. I see it. I appreciate how difficult it is. But so I guess I'm not saying that they don't deserve a new school or that they are less deserving, but that doesn't make Delaney less deserving either.
I agree.
Just because I'm here doesn't make us, because I can't be here. I'm not a Lansdowne parent,
Right.
but I feel
I respect that.
I don't appreciate how you're portraying our position, because we've always advocated for those other schools just as well. But I will put this back. Show us the plan. If there are decisions to be made and choices, when's our turn? When's the turn for the school that's falling apart? It's not safe. So but I'm happy to take other questions.
We're working through it now.
We are happy to see it as soon as it's...
I appreciate you coming out there. I do. And I appreciate you advocating for your school. I mean, we got to be all in this together, I think, for this to work.
Yeah.
You know, listen, again, I thank you for coming. I certainly appreciate Ms. Williams and her service as a teacher. And I don't want to say this because I might get myself in trouble. But
Don't say it.
You know, you say don't say
That's
it.
when you don't
Sometimes
say
I can't help myself. You know, sometimes. Well, see, what I'm not going to say is, you know, I'm not going to say that maybe we all need to get in buses and go down to Annapolis and to demand our $230 million. Because if we got our $230 from the million, $230 from the state, as opposed to the governor and the controller, and they coming up here making all these comments, give us our money. We forward funded these school construction, and you owe us $230 million. And every year you want to give us $30 million back. You owe us $230. Give us the $230, and then we won't have this problem. Okay. All right. I'm not going to say that. I'm glad I didn't say it, but I thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much.
Sure. Whew. Mr. Dave Rader, please tell me you're not going to talk about a high school.
You can talk about UMBC, though. UMBC Retrievers. UMBC Retrievers.
Hello.
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 Thank you for having me here today. I do appreciate this opportunity to speak. My name is Dave Rader, and I'm a candidate for the Baltimore County Council, District 7. And I have serious concerns about the way that the PUD has gone down regarding the country estates. First of all, it has been said that many communities have been involved in the process. The community association that I was recently president of, Norwood Halberd, we're 2 miles away. We were not contacted. The Civic League of Inverness, they were also not contacted, directly adjacent. The community directly across the street from there, my opponent, Mr. Richard Davis, he took up a petition of many residents in that area, and they were, I didn't hear that petition mentioned here today, unfortunately, and that's a lot of legwork to go around and do all those, get all those petitions, or get all those signatures for the petitions. And these are communities that are directly adjacent. Meanwhile, there was one that you had mentioned also, the inheritance, the historic building. I have a great respect for historic properties. That was 5 miles away, though. And like I said, these other ones were directly adjacent to this community, and they were not contacted at all. And also, I know that there were some serious environmental issues. I cannot go into detail on that, but I spoke to a registered environmental witness for the state, and he said that this was turned down many years ago on environmental issues, and unfortunately I didn't hear anything about that here. As councilman, I would not have proposed this. it would not have accepted it or brought it to everyone else in its current form, knowing that so many communities were left out of the loop. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Rader. Any comments, questions? Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Scott Collier. Good evening, sir.
Well, hello, how are you today?
Great, great. Thanks for coming.
Yes, hello. My name is Scott Collier, and I'm a resident of the Dundalk community. Actually live in Logan Village, and have went out and got many signatures for the proposed sale of the North Point Government Center. And I can tell you that after speaking to many of the residents about that they feel that our community is oversaturated now. They don't feel like they can travel up and down Merritt Boulevard. I had a conversation with a woman that said that her and her husband argue about who's going to travel to Dundalk to pick up their children. They live in the Essex area when they have athletic activities. So we do have a big problem with that. I'm not really 100% up on this exact topic, but I do know that we don't have enough open space as it is. So I would have rather have seen this property turned into some kind of park. It is in a beautiful location, and have it where it would be access for the community. We're losing one piece of property after another, and I would like to see more of the focus going on having the homes that are empty in our communities actually working on having people move into our communities to strengthen them to make our community better. So that is my point on this, and the reason I'm here today. So I am in opposition to this, and thank you very much for hearing me.
Thank you for coming, Mr. Collier. Any comments? No? Thank you, sir. Yara? Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening, Council. I'm sorry that Delaney High School might have changed the mood of this very happy meeting with all of the ayes in agreement. But what I would say is that it is something that has to be first and foremost, our safe schools. And I'm in agreement with Councilman Quirk, and we've been in conversation. We know that mechanical, electrical, and plumbing scores were given out, and that Lansdowne High Schools is lower, and it needs attention, whether that be the $60 million renovation that's been proposed and funded, or whether it be a replacement school. I've been to Lansdowne as a League of Women Voters, Baltimore County Education Committee member. I've been to schools in all of your districts. The question for advocates isn't how we pay for it. That's the question that's presented before all of you. And so we need to tell you what we need. And, you know, in the past few weeks, we've spoken to Councilman Marks and Councilwoman Vicki Almond, and that we thank you for hearing us and listening to us and considering what we need moving forward. But the Southeast and the Northeast has overcrowded seats. We have to figure out what to do for them. But that doesn't negate the fact that Delaney High School was offered a renovation that was less than half the cost per square foot of other renovations in the county. It just doesn't. That was unequitable. It's a school built for 1,984 students today, with a deficit of space of 47,000 square feet, the largest deficit of space of any school in the county. That's an MSDE number, and the IAC application that BCPS put forward recognized the square footage deficit that we have for today's students, let alone any future students. Our electrical box is 54 years old. The life expectancy of the electrical box is 30 years. The concerns and the safety of the students are our primary concern, and I've advocated across the county. I've been to PTA meetings at every one of your districts working on schools. And I would say that Delaney High School isn't going to go away. The advocates aren't going to go away because the children are in conditions that are like Lansdowne. We have the worst mechanical and electrical plumbing score without a funded solution. That's of any high school. That's a fact. There's no disputing it. There's no denying it. You can't walk away from that statistic. And we have to deal with it. And we look forward to working with you in dealing with it. Thank you.
Council.
Yeah, and I appreciate you coming in, and I've enjoyed our
Thank you,
conversations.
Councilman Quirk.
our many conversations on the phone, and I know Comptroller Francho's position is he advocates for both a new school at Delaney and obviously a new school at Lansdowne. He's
Great,
been
yes.
quoted in the press, and he's one of 3 people that sit on the Board of
Public
Public Works, which is really important. And I definitely can understand what our Chairman Jones said about the state could be a big part of the solution with the $230 million of forward-funded dollars. If they can help us accelerate that, that would be incredibly significant and relieve some of the capital budget constraints that we have. But I will take issue not with anything you said, but with some of, I think, the political gimmickry that's happening in Annapolis when you get these elected officials saying, well, we're just going to have a lockbox. And the lockbox, for anybody that just understands basic numbers, is just sort of just playing games with numbers. I mean, just moving $1 from one place to another. If you put a lockbox, just see how well it worked on Social Security. We were supposed to have a lockbox for Social Security until we used our money continually to fund general operations. The same thing would happen in Annapolis. If we have a lockbox where we put all our school construction money in one spot, well, it leaves gaping holes in other parts of the budget. And everybody knows that's really the reality, but nobody wants to address it from a statewide level because then it means they have to make choices on, well, how do we really pay for this? Mm-hmm. And what is the burden of the taxpayer in this equation? And so it's something I think a lot of the advocates at Delaney, we could use a lot of help in Annapolis because the lockbox is just, it's really, it's disingenuous.
Well, there's 2 lockbox bills, right? There's the one that the governor proposed with the comptroller, and that would put for the first year $100 million in for construction, but that's not going to pass. And the second one is Maggie McIntosh's bill coming out of the House. But I don't think that money is for capital budget expenses. I don't think it's for construction projects. I think what Delegate McIntosh and Senator Carter Conway are doing in the Senate, that money is for operating. So that is, in discussions with them, that bill, in both the Senate and the House, are for operating budget because it was in response to the fact that Kerwin wasn't introduced earlier. So because it wasn't introduced earlier, she wanted some sort of mechanism to fund what we know on the operating side is going to be a huge deficit proposed. We're not going to be able to meet that need at the state level. So the lockbox, I don't think is going to affect IAC construction funding. How we get that money from the state, just let me know. I'm there. I'm with you. I'm with all of you on that, trying to get more money from the IAC. I've been to the Board of Public Works, every year at the Begathon or the October 18th, whatever you want to call it, begging for money alongside BCPS. So I agree with you, 230, 250 after this year's budget would go a long way to help. But it's not enough. That's not enough money. Mm-hmm. We're going to need more, and the council's going to have to figure out how to do it.
Councilwoman Allman?
Yara?
Yes.
Thank you for our conversation the other day.
Thank you.
And
Thank you very much.
I have to tell you that my heart breaks over this because I feel like I'm having to choose a favorite child. And it hurts. And I think nobody nobody wants to see any of our kids in the situations that they're in, and it's all across Baltimore County. You know that. I was at Delaney. I saw it. I saw the termites in the drawers. I couldn't believe it. And I still don't have any answers from anyone as to how it got to this point.
Right, so
None.
I could go through each of your districts and tell you the funding in the last 50 years that each of your high schools got. And I will tell you, the only money Delaney received from the state in the last 40 years was $2 million for a new roof from the 2012 Aging School Fund. No new bleachers. You know, in some of your schools, you got new floors, new bleachers, new auditorium equipment. At Loch Raven High School, we saw things. I mean, we've listed it. No state funding. And the other piece of it, sorry, Councilwoman Almond, is maintenance. And if the county council wanted to take on another issue, it's the maintenance of the Baltimore County Public Schools.
Well, that's the one I want to take on, because that's the one that's gotten us here.
Right. And all of you have received new schools in the last 8 years with the $1.3 billion. I mean, Catonsville has 3 new elementary schools. Dundalk is getting new elementary schools. It received a new high school. Those schools will look exactly like Delaney in 30 years without maintenance.
Right.
And so we need to address that. But that's a separate issue. And I just go back to your favorite child comment. Each of you have to the favorite schools in your districts are the ones in your districts, and that's normal. But we have a 2014 report that says exactly the status of schools. It would be nice if it was a living document online that got updated as Colgate Elementary gets redone or as the new school in the Northwest opens, so that these schools were updated. But you use the data. You say, what's the worst school? What's the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing score of this school? And the reason I say use the MEP scores is because the principals gave each school a score. The land site is its own score. These are important issues. But the structural, the bones of a school is the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing. And I would say, let's look at it, because, I mean, you're probably not going to want to hear this, but for all of you, but if you look at the MEP scores, it is after Lansdowne and Woodlawn and Patapsco, it's Delaney. And after Delaney, the 2 worst schools are actually Towson High School and Loch Raven High School. And Loch Raven's a big surprise, but it is. And it actually could be fixed with the I could talk about schools a lot. I'll stop.
I just want you to know that we get it, that we understand, and that we're thinking about it all the time, and we're trying to figure out, without a whole lot of help, how we're going to be able to do this.
And I promise not to attend the next meeting.
Councilman Marks?
But the other fundamental question, and it's not a cure-all, is
Yes.
cost. And we've talked about this.
I'm sorry?
Cost.
Yes.
Why does it cost Baltimore County $130 million to build a high school when you see other jurisdictions doing this for $110 million?
So, Councilman Marks, this weekend was an FRC tournament, a giant robotics tournament, and it was in Prince George's County. And I was there at Oxon Hill High School. I don't know if any of you have ever seen it. It's well worth. You want to get on a bus, go see Oxon Hill High School. It's magnificent. And it cost $81 million. It was a school in 2011, so we're talking bid out, during the recession. But it was built for, I think, 1,400 kids. It was built on site, and then the old school was torn down. It's magnificent.
Yeah.
The auditorium, the common spaces, they're all built for what the school needs. Our schools don't look like that. Dundalk Zollers is gorgeous, but it doesn't look like Oxon Hill. Neither does Carver. And they're very nice. But we can do much better moving forward in terms of how we think about new construction.
I mean, I go to Harford County all the time because I'm so close to it.
Sure.
And it's just, the new Edgewood High School, the Patterson Mill. These are beautiful schools, and it seems like they're getting built at a much less expensive rate than we are projecting to build our schools. And it's a fundamental question we have to answer.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Councilman Quirk?
Now, I would just say, with the lockbox,
Yes.
$100 million to
That
the
was the
average
first
citizen.
year,
Yeah,
yes.
it might sound like a lot of money, but when you look at the statewide needs, not just Baltimore County, but the whole statewide needs, it's just it's political theater, candidly. It's not even coming close to what we need in the county alone. And so I just hope that we find a solution, obviously not just on the county level, but we really need to see a solution on the state level. And I'm not even close to understanding what Baltimore City did. Baltimore City was able to really harness a lot of capital that went into Baltimore City schools. And I wonder why, since we have really aged infrastructure, why can't Baltimore County do something similar? I mean, I'm not an expert.
Well, we were offered. So in 2012, Baltimore County was offered to be part of that. Speaker of the House, Mike Miller, came to the head of the Baltimore County House delegation and said, is this something you want to get on board with while Baltimore City? It was called Get on the Bus. That was the whole phrase. And the county at the time didn't, the way Baltimore City structured it was all the new construction is organized by the Stadium Authority. All renovations are done by Baltimore City Public Schools. And at the time, I believe that the Baltimore County administration didn't feel that it needed a third party controlling the public school construction budget, nor did they want to, because they were reacting to overcrowded seats, nor did they want to necessarily lose control of what probably should have been a 10-year plan. But there were seats. I mean, everybody benefited in this council from those seats, as Councilman Jones said, the need for seats. The aging infrastructure is a separate piece, and that's why I would say the Northeast and the Southeast solutions need to be separated out from aging infrastructure and the need for schools. And you have a lot to balance. And we'll see what the Anibal Basu report says about overcrowding and what those solutions look like.
Councilman Katz?
Yes, Your Honor, I want to thank you for all your work on behalf of all the students in Baltimore County. I want to talk about the state of Maryland and the fact that Baltimore County is forward funded, $230 million. We all have to realize that you can say the same for Montgomery County, for Howard County as examples. They are owed money by the state of Maryland. When we say owed money, that means that the projects for new schools or renovated schools do meet the state qualifications. They've been approved, and the county has opted to fund them up front. In regard to the Baltimore City 10-year plan, it's $1.1 billion. And at the time, I felt as if the county should accept, the same time, money from the state. Let the Stadium Authority be the ones to be in charge of building the new schools in Baltimore County, certainly if it's going to save us money.
Well, in some ways, Councilman Koch, we've missed the boat on that.
Yeah,
because
we have, right.
The way the state looks at us now, we used to have the second oldest infrastructure in the county. The last time the state recorded, we were between the fifth and sixth.
And that's...
So there are counties that, one of the things that the county executive did that was really smart was these limited renovations.
Right.
But in 2017, the IAC report said that's why none of our buildings get superior status unless they're built new. Because a limited renovation by its nature can't address everything. It's limited. And so that's what I would call on you moving forward to consider doing comprehensive renovations or new school construction, because we're not fixing. He inherited a mess.
Yes.
And he inherited 20 years of utter and total neglect in our infrastructure. Mm-hmm. So, and in using the record of, in using the assessment, the 2014 assessment, it was a move in the right direction, right? He addressed seats, in different areas. But he also, when the school system, in coordination with the county executive, also looked at the age of infrastructure. It's how we got Woodlawn, Patapsco, and Delaney and Lansdowne addressed.
And I did want to add that in Annapolis, it takes 24 votes to pass a bill in the Senate. It takes 71 in the House. So numbers are important. Baltimore County has 8 Senate members, and we have 23 delegates. And if you take a look at what happens in Annapolis is the Montgomery County, Prince George's County, and Baltimore City delegations all cooperate with one another. And that is one of the reasons why you see funds going to those particular counties.
Yeah.
And our new county executive, whoever that might be, needs to make it a priority to work very closely with the House and Senate county delegation in Annapolis to see to it that we aren't passed over anymore.
Councilman Koch?
Because we are passed over. There's no question about it. But on top of that, the county delegation has to realize that no matter what party they're in, that they need to work together on certain issues. And this is one of those issues.
Councilman Koch, every time I go down to Annapolis and advocate for money since 2012 or 11, particularly with Prince George's County and Montgomery County, several times Baltimore County, Prince George's County, and Montgomery County got together and went forward and looked for legislation. What they say to Baltimore County advocates in Annapolis is, when you raise your own taxes to mirror anything that looks like these other jurisdictions, then we'll talk. And so I'm, like I am here, I'm powerless, but I'd relay that message to you that it's very hard to justify state funding when we're not doing what other jurisdictions are doing financially, like Montgomery County or Howard County or Prince George's County.
Well, I think the answer to that is that Baltimore County meets the maintenance of effort every year, that requirement. The same can't be said about Montgomery County. They have not always met the maintenance of effort. In fact, one year a bill had to pass the legislature in order to allow them to not meet the maintenance of effort. So, I'm really not too interested in hearing about our taxing in Baltimore County, again, because we do meet the maintenance effort. And one of the counties you mentioned, Montgomery specifically, did not for 1 year.
Okay. Any more questions or comments? I am going to first thank you, Yara, for your presentation. Looks like you racked up 526 minutes. You can't come back here for 6 months. Okay, 5 months. Councilman Katch wanted to reduce it to 5. I do.
What if I say something about UMBC? No.
Well,
Then you can come back.
They can come back. But let me just say that these are some very tough choices. I appreciate your advocacy, all the work that you've put into it, and it's refreshing. And I know your heart is in the right place, as everyone's heart is in the right place, and I appreciate you coming out. These are some tough choices that we are going to have to make. Clearly, there are ways, whenever you're faced with this type of situation, that the good part of these tough situations is you put everything on the table. You put the construction cost on the table. You put the model schools you're building. You put everything on the table because those tough times require you to do it. And I believe that necessity is the mother of invention. And I believe in the people here in Baltimore County. I believe that we are going to rise to the challenge. We're going to come together. We're going to come up with some practical solutions to solve these problems. I believe that. And I believe with your help, as well as others who advocate on their behalf, it's going to take us a long way, and we're going to rise to the challenge and be successful.
Thank
so,
you.
Thank you so very much for coming. I appreciate everybody for coming. Have yourself a good night. All right.
Go UMBC.